Welcome to Mr. Disturbing. Tonight, we're plunging into the dark heart of the Appalachians with some truly unsettling true horror stories. That'll keep you up all night. If you're brave enough, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next descent into fear. My name is Luke. I'm 31 years old, and I live in a small town just outside the Appalachian Mountains in Tennessee. I work as a forest firefighter, spending long days battling wildfires and long nights patrolling the dense woods. I've faced danger many times, but nothing prepared me for what I experienced last fall. It was a cold October evening. The sun had just disappeared behind the ridges. I was finishing my shift, walking a familiar trail near the backcountry called Devil's Backbone. It's a place locals avoid, especially after dark. They say strange things happen there. People disappear. Voices call out in the night. I never believed those stories. I thought it was just superstition. But that night, I found out just how wrong I was. The fog rolled in thick and fast, settling over the forest like a living blanket. The usual sounds of birds and insects disappeared. All I could hear was my own breathing and the crunch of leaves underfoot. Suddenly, I saw something moving ahead. At first I thought it was another firefighter, but the figure was too tall, too thin. It moved with a jerky, unnatural gait. Its eyes glowed faintly in the darkness, cold and empty. I stopped, heart pounding. The figure stopped too, then vanished into the fog. I wanted to turn back, but curiosity pushed me forward. The deeper I went, the heavier the air became. The trees seemed to close in around me, their branches twisting like grasping hands. Then came the whispering, faint at first, then louder, voices speaking in a language I couldn't understand. They circled me, surrounding me in a chorus of dread. My flashlight flickered. The batteries died. I was plunged into darkness. Panic set in. I stumbled blindly through the fog, my heart racing. I heard footsteps behind me, slow, deliberate, closing in. I ran, crashing through underbrush, but the footsteps stayed just behind me. Then, out of nowhere, I tripped and fell. My flashlight skittered away, and I was left alone in the blackness. A cold hand brushed my shoulder. I froze. The whispers grew louder, filling my mind with fear. Then silence. When dawn broke, I was found near the trailhead by other firefighters. I was shaking, exhausted, with deep scratches on my arms and face. I never saw the figure again, but the fear never left me. The Appalachian Mountains hold secrets, things that watch and wait. I don't know what I faced that night, but I know it was real. And I know I'm lucky to be alive. Sometimes when the fog rolls in and the wind howls through the trees, I swear I hear those whispers again, calling me back to Devil's Backbone. I don't know if I'll ever return, but I fear the mountains aren't done with me yet. The days after that night were worse than the night itself. I tried to go back to normal, but something inside me had changed. The forest no longer felt like a safe place. I started noticing strange things. At first, it was small, dead animals scattered along the trails. Birds with their eyes gouged out. Rabbits torn apart, but no blood. The bodies looked like they had been drained. I reported it to the local wildlife authorities, but they shrugged it off. No explanation, just a natural mystery. Then, one night I heard about an old abandoned cemetery deep in the woods. They call it Widow's Hollow. People say it's cursed. Hundreds of graves, many unmarked. A place where tragedy and death linger like a heavy fog. I decided to check it out. Maybe it could explain what was happening. I took my gear and headed into the forest just before dusk. The path was barely visible under fallen leaves. As I approached Widow's Hollow, a heavy silence swallowed the air. No birds, no insects, just the crunch of my boots. When I stepped inside, the temperature dropped so fast I could see my breath. The cemetery was overgrown and forgotten. Tombstones cracked and leaning. Some were smashed, names worn away by time. The air was thick, suffocating. Suddenly I heard whispering again, this time louder, closer. I turned but saw nothing. Then, from the corner of my eye, a shadow moved between the trees. My heart hammered. I pulled out my flashlight. The beam revealed a circle of graves in the center. The ground was disturbed as if something had been digging. I knelt and looked closer. The soil was fresh. Beneath the loose dirt, I saw bones. Human bones. I felt bile rise in my throat. Who had been buried here recently? And why was the ground dug up? A cold wind blew through the trees, carrying the faint scent of decay. The whispering grew louder, swirling around me like a storm. I wanted to run, but my legs felt rooted to the spot. Then I saw them, figures emerging from the fog, pale, thin, their eyes hollow. They moved silently among the graves. Not alive, but not quite dead. Watching, waiting. I barely escaped that night. I ran through the forest, branches tearing at my clothes, the whispers chasing me until I burst out into the open air. Since then, the dead animals keep appearing. More bodies, more signs, and the shadows. They come closer every night. I don't know what's happening, but I know one thing. Widow's Hollow is more than a graveyard. It's a place where something ancient and terrible dwells. And it's waking up. The forest is no longer just trees and wildlife. It's a nightmare, waiting in the dark. And I fear it's coming for me next. In the days that followed my narrow escape from Widow's Hollow, I became obsessed with uncovering the truth behind the strange deaths and the restless shadows haunting the Appalachian woods. I dug through old records, interviewed locals, and pieced together a dark history no one wanted to talk about. The cemetery wasn't just abandoned. It was once the site of a horrific massacre during the early settlement days, a place where families were wiped out in a brutal, senseless attack. But that wasn't all. Beneath the layers of soil and memory lay an older secret, whispered only in the oldest legends. The land was cursed by a vengeful spirit, a guardian who punished those who disturbed the balance of nature. The dead animals, the glowing eyes, the whispers, they were all part of this ancient reckoning. I found references to a shadowy figure known as the Hollow Man, a being said to move unseen, guiding the lost deeper into the woods to become part of the eternal forest. Some say it's a manifestation of guilt, others believe it's a guardian between the living and the dead. There's no proof, only stories passed down like warnings, stories that echo modern urban legends like the Mothman or the Black-Eyed Children, chilling tales of entities that exist just beyond the edge of our understanding, lurking in the darkness and preying on curiosity. Despite everything I uncovered, the deeper I went, the more questions remained unanswered. The forest's secrets are layered like the trees themselves, tangled and ancient. Every clue seemed to lead to another mystery, deeper and darker. It's as if the mountains are alive, watching, waiting to reveal only what they want. I returned to Widow's Hollow one last time, standing at the edge of the graveyard as the sun dipped below the horizon. The wind whispered through the pines, carrying those same haunting voices. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. The forest doesn't just hide its secrets, it chooses who to reveal them to and who to claim. I stepped back, heart heavy, knowing I may never understand it all. But one question remains, lingering like a shadow in the corner of my mind. When the forest calls next, will I be ready to answer?